Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us. This is the Channel Pro Boss of Small Biz series. It is the first in the series. So, you guys are a part of history and you are part of the first for many to come. So, give yourselves a round of applause for joining us in the middle of the day. Yes. Thank you all. It is going to be an exciting one, super engaging. We want to welcome everybody joining us across the Caribbean and also online. I know that many persons are joining us through their social media platforms, through LinkedIn, and also through YouTube as well. So thanks very much for joining us. So today we're talking about the strategic moves for the new e-commerce landscape. And trust and believe, if COVID-19 didn't teach us anything else, it's that e-commerce is here and it's here to stay. So we're super excited to give you all the tools and all the information that you may need for your small business to take that business to the next level in e-commerce, right? So as I mentioned before, COVID-19's impact on consumer behavior has accelerated adoption of new retail and digital technologies. And we're going to be hearing from a few industry experts, rock stars in their own right, on their perspective of the future of e-commerce and how we can all prepare. So I have some beautiful people with me, and let me start with the person who curated this whole entire experience. Her name is Twitty Ann Thomas. He is an experienced CEO and sales expert with demonstrated history of achieving fantastic revenue growth through innovative thinking, sales, operational optimization, and empowerment. She has over 15 years experience working in diverse business environments in the telecommunications, ICT, and physical security industries. She previously managed sales operations at Digital Group across 26 markets. So she didn't just arrive today. She's been here, right? And she has a lot of experience in the business. She also led the DLM Group, parent company of Hawkeye Jamaica Limited and Ranger Security Limited, as general manager for sales, marketing, and customer care. She's skilled in sales operations, business strategy, value selling, and customer engagement. She's the founder and CEO of Channel Pro Limited, as well as co-founder and vice president of Salos Technology Services. Tuti Ann, open your mic and say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Good. And we're going to be hearing much more about why she decided to have this series and much more about her business later on in the show. And I'm going to call it a show because that's exactly what it is, right? All right. So streaming in from Trinidad, and no, I will not make a corny joke about bacon shark or anything like that. I will not do that. Trini himself, Karen Rose, is an online business strategist who has worked with Caribbean entrepreneurs and business across the region. Now, he focuses on helping businesses build their digital presence and how to monetize their platforms, and is the host of one of the top business podcasts in the Caribbean called Digipreneur FM. And trust me, if you want to know anything at all, he's wearing the shirt, he's branded, you know, like the man of business for sure. Mr. Rose has worked with companies across the Caribbean such as Flow, Digicel, B-Mobile, Huawei, Sagicor, Scotiabank, let me take a breath, Eastern Credit Union, FCB, WePay, and Loop Caribbean. Wow, I don't know how long he's been in the business for, but this is a long list. I can imagine the resume. That's crazy. So his goal is to constantly create educational content through his blog and Digipreneur FM podcast that pushes Caribbean entrepreneurs to navigate the digital age and participate in the global economy. Follow him online at Karen Rose. Hi, Karen. Open your mic and say hi. We're not hearing you. You need to
Boom, connect. Hello. How is everyone doing?
Did Karen just drop sound effect a while ago? Did you just
Boom, connect.
let me take guys the rock star? Like seriously though. Oh my god. All right, Karen. We see what you're about. Love that. And streaming in from Bermuda, Mr. Chris Burns, the CEO of First Atlantic Commerce. He has worked in the e-commerce industry for 19 years and has served as CEO of FAC for the past 10 years. His expertise lies in assisting companies and banks develop and deploy successful e-commerce strategies across the Latin America and Caribbean region. Now, today, FAC is operating in over 30 countries, processing hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and it is the most connected payments gateway in Caribbean and Central America with team members in 5 countries. Now, FAC's clients include Flow, Digicel, PriceSmart, Sandals, and many of the region's governments and major utilities. You may have seen them if you've used your NCB credit card. And I'm plugging NCB here. I mean, Sarah, don't worry about it. I'll get to you. Don't worry about it. No, he's also the CEO of PowerTrans, a sister company of FAC, and PowerTrans was recently started to address many of the inadequacies in the point of sale industry in the Caribbean. And I know many persons right now are very happy to hear that. Happy to hear that it will be addressing some of the issues that we do have with the point of sale industry. So welcome, Mr. Chris Burns. Turn on your microphone and say hi to everybody.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for that very warm introduction. Thank you.
Absolutely. And he's also an honorary Jamaican as well. Don't worry about it. He has his flag in the back somewhere there. So, and of course, if we're doing an e-commerce webinar, we have to definitely have NCB on board. So today we have Sarah K. Nemard. She's the sales and relationship officer responsible for e-commerce at NCB's payments and digital channels division. She began her career with the National Commercial Bank in 2018 after completing her bachelor's in business administration in finance and international business at UTech. Now, her guiding principle of life is a quote which I absolutely love by Thomas Dreyer. It says, "The life each of us lives lies within the limits of our own thinking. To live life more abundant, we have to think in limitless terms of abundance," which is exactly what e-commerce provides. So welcome, Sarah. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Awesome. So happy to have you. And finally, or final speaker, by no means the least, Mr. Kemar Harris, Managing Director and founder of Genius Digital Commerce and Digital E-Commerce Consultant at ChannelPro Limited. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science and Information Technology from the University of Technology, Jamaica, and a postgraduate degree in Digital Marketing from the Digital Marketing Institute. Now, Mr. Harris is also an e-commerce expert, professional website developer, and a digital marketing leader. To date, he has developed over 1,000 websites, so he knows a thing or two about websites, and spends most of his time helping businesses to develop effective digital strategies and generate lead sales as well, and also new revenue via e-commerce and digital channels. Now, his company, Genius Digital Commerce, is a strategic partner with First Atlantic Commerce, who has developed several plugins and solutions allowing non-technical customers to quickly and securely integrate their payment gateway for accepting credit card payments online. So welcome to everybody. Let me give you a round of applause. I'm in a room of experts and leaders in this field, so I'm very happy to be a part of this. My name is Debbie Bissoon, if I have not introduced myself yet, and I'm going to be the host for this series. So thank you so much. Switian, let's start from the top, because I remember when you called me and you said to me you're doing this webinar about e-commerce, as a lot of our small businesses in Jamaica and the Caribbean, and this region really, are now, getting more interested in e-commerce. We understand its growth, especially during the COVID times. But why this webinar? Let's start there.
All right, so Debbie, the Channel Pro Boss Up Small Biz series was really curated through calls from our small business customers asking us constantly to host events and sessions that will provide insights and tips from various experts in the field of business, just to discuss the business challenges and how themselves would have overcome them. So we're looking at topics from funding, how to get funding, the importance of planning and strategy, finance and taxes, general market trends that would help SMEs to scale and grow their business. So we speak to customers every single day, and they're asking, can you put on some sessions for us so that we could learn from the experts? So that is why we have curated this session for them.
Yeah, and I know that persons watching are very much grateful that they're able to log in today. And for persons who will be watching this at their own convenience, I'm very happy that Channel Pro has decided to do this series to give much more information and to hear from the persons who do it every single day. So thank you so much, Twitty, and I mean, congrats to you and the team there. So I'm going to say to everybody who's tuning in, and I know that from the conversations that we'll be having, you may have questions. Feel free to drop them in the comment section. And no question, and absolutely no question is too simple, it's too large to ask. Do not be afraid to ask the questions. All right, that's the reason why we're here. So let's start from the top. We're going to start, and I'm going to pose this question firstly to Mr. Karen, because I know Karen is doing a lot of work in the Caribbean as well in terms of sensitizing our Caribbean people about e-commerce. It's a very, very simple question, Karen, and in very simple terms, and I'll ask everyone else thereafter to answer. What is e-commerce?
Well, it's relatively easy. We know that everybody shops online. So if anybody has made a purchase on Amazon, that is essentially e-commerce. It is electronic commerce, payments, purchasing of goods or services that happen electronically. That's as simple as it gets.
Yeah. Anybody else want to add to that definition? No? All right. Well, I think you did a great job at explaining what that is, Karen. I mean, let's talk about the business growth, though, and the possibilities that lies through e-commerce. Chris, I want you to jump in here. And why small businesses need to look at e-commerce now, adding that as a part of their business model. Tell us the importance of it.
Yeah, so e-commerce in many ways allows you to grow and scale your business at a more cost-effective way than a traditional brick and mortar business, right? So if you have a physical store, brick and mortar store, it's likely that you don't own the building, you're paying rent on it, you're having to spend quite a lot of maybe on security for it, utilities, staffing it up. Plus you have hours, right? Most retail operations are 9 to 5, 8:30 to 6, and then might not be open on a Sunday, for example. So when you have an online business, you can be open 24/7. You have potentially a business that is making money for you while you sleep, which is really important. And if you don't have something like that, you're really more of an employee really than a sort of a business owner, right? So, and also, it allows you to sell to a much wider audience. If you're in that you're constrained to that physical location, and people that are happen to be passing by or want to transfer to that space. But if you're online, the opportunities are endless, and there's no borders. So, as long as you have your logistics worked out well and how you ship and how you deliver your goods and services, you theoretically can sell to anybody around the world.
Wow. So it really does open the possibilities for scaling and all of that, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And that's an important thing when especially when you're looking at smaller countries, right? I live in Bermuda. I'm from Bermuda. There's only 60,000 people in Bermuda. So to try and make a retail operation work just solely here from a physical presence is quite hard. You need to get a huge percentage of the population to come through your physical store to actually really make any decent money out of it. But as soon as you bring that online, you open yourself up to a lot more customers.
Absolutely, and you're open 24/7, so there's no close time.
Absolutely.
Kemar, I want to jump in here with you because you've built so many websites. For persons who may think, e-commerce, let me not get too hasty in going there because the space is getting oversaturated, and maybe my business model or what it is that I actually do and offer people is not so different from the other things that are available to them. Let me stay in my niche corner here and let me wait on customers to come in through my doors. How do you navigate that with customers in terms of clients rather, in terms of changing their mindsets to integrate e-commerce in their business?
Right, that's a very good question. And many customers, when they come to me, they ask me, do I really need e-commerce? Do I really need a website? And the truth is, one of the first things I ask them is, does your competitor have a website? is your competitor doing e-commerce? If they're already doing it, it means that you are behind and you are losing sales to your competitors. And if they are not doing it, rest assured they are preparing to do it. And you either want to get ahead or you want to play catch up. But like you said in the beginning, e-commerce is here and it is here to stay. One of the beauty of e-commerce is just having that global reach. Everyone, when they are looking to buy a product or a service, where do they go? They go online, they go to Google. And the great benefit of e-commerce is all that organic traffic, customers that you could have never reached just having a regular brick and mortar customers, you can now reach them with e-commerce. So,
Yeah.
that is usually, what I try to explain to small businesses who are trying to, cross that hurdle.
Right, right. Karen, you want to jump in here and give me
Yeah.
some more information about the saturation in the market? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so that is a very common misconception, is that there is saturation in the market. Now let me give you some fun stats, because we all love stats, right?
Yeah.
So in Jamaica, as of 2022, as of beginning of this month, 2022, there are 21,949 registered domains coming from Jamaica. When you think about the population and how many businesses in Jamaica, that is a very low number. And that's just domains. That's not even how many websites are active and how many are business websites. Then out of Trinidad has less than 17,000 websites. Now, I have the data for how many businesses are registered in Trinidad. We have 28,000 businesses registered in Trinidad. We have less than 17,000 websites in totality coming from Trinidad. So that means that if you create your websites, you put your products online, because there are just a low amount of websites, your competition digitally is very small. There's more competition on social media. And that's where all the businesses want to play. They want to play where it's busy. But if you have your website, and as Kamar said, you're showing up organically, you're showing up on Google, because that's the number one place that anybody goes to get information or to start a sales purchase.
All right.
If there's nobody there, if your competitors are not there, then you have a bigger chance of showing up on page one and starting to generate your organic leads and driving traffic to your platform. The other thing I'll end off and say is that in the Caribbean, there is no social media platform where e-commerce is enabled. We don't have none of the settlement tools available on any social media platform in the Caribbean, which means your settlement, where people are purchasing, has to be done on your website.
Mm. Very good information there. Very good information there. I think one of the things, as well as we talk about the concern about saturation, but I also, when I think about it, I think about how we are as a Caribbean people. We don't like change. We don't like doing things that we're not used to. So how do we go about, Karen? I mean, because you've done a lot of sensitization through your podcast series and also your blogs online. How do we continue to kind of get into people's mindsets, because it's really going to take a mindset shift for from these businesses to add e-commerce to their business?
We got to meet people where they're at. So one of the keys for me this year was to start getting into more traditional media. So I got into one of our largest networks, started a radio show, started writing in one of our top newspapers in the country. Been doing work with the JTDA, and they've been doing stuff with the Jamaica Observer, getting more content into the places that, again, just where the people who may not be online, where they're hanging out. So we have to have more of these conversations to bring awareness. But most importantly, beyond the awareness, is the workshops and babying people's hands, because most companies are not producing content in the Caribbean. So if somebody were to jump online and type in, how do I do X? They usually get information from the US or another market. And that information can lead us down the wrong path. And usually, I know when Chris gets a lot of calls, it's because people have, started on a platform where they can't get paid on. They come to Chris crying, hey, can you please make FAC work with the platform that we are using, right? So having these conversations, workshops, and just holding more people's hands to bring them through the entire process is definitely a good start, from my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to jump to the next question, but I'm going to follow up with Chris on that about, the payment process, because that's a big thing there where persons would, go ahead and they start their platform, but they're not thinking about how they're going to get their monies into their bank accounts. But let's go back to getting them ready. Sarah, let's talk about what a business would need, because some companies right now, let me not even go as far as companies, some registered business right now still don't have business accounts. They don't know what that is. They're still processing payments, etc., from their personal accounts. So let's talk about what they would need to get themselves e-commerce ready.
Right. So, from a banking perspective, at NCB, we ask that merchants provide us with a formal letter requesting the service. And in that letter, it should have some information about the nature of the business. If it is that the business offering a trade, the company should be registered with the Companies Office of Jamaica. If it is that they're offering a service and operating in their own name, they're not necessarily required to register their company. And in that case, they may be able to use their personal NCB bank account to, utilize our e-commerce solution. Other requirements, you mentioned the business accounts. You open two NCB business bank accounts, one denominated in Jamaican dollars and the other denominated in US dollars. So the requirements for that is you need a business registration certificate, a tax compliance certificate, photo ID, TRN. Um, if it's a partnership, you need a partnership deed. For the merchant services piece, you need to complete and sign merchant application and agreement forms. You need to provide the articles of incorporation if you're a company, a memorandum of association if you're a company, and if it is that you utilize the licenses to in your business, we need those licenses as well. And what I'll also do is I'll share the links to the business account opening requirements in the chat so that persons can have it for
Absolutely.
reference.
Okay,
Absolutely.
what are the timelines, Sarah? Okay, I just want to just chime in on that. With regards to when they provide all that information, how long will it take for them to get up and ready, having all of that?
All right. So if it is that they have their business bank account already, and they reach out to one of our sales officers, generally the merchant accounts are created in 1 to 3 days. After that, we create different terminal IDs and stuff that they're required to be e-commerce ready. Um, Timelines in terms of the different solutions we can touch on later, but I'm just gonna say for the basic Figaro merchant NCB payment buttons and the website template, it can take up to days. We have merchants that have turnaround times; they complete their integration in 5 days. For our customized website solutions, those that sometimes take a little bit more work, but we see merchants turnaround time up to 2 weeks. So
2 weeks.
those are the timelines.
All
Okay.
right, great.
Okay, good. Twitty, and since you have chimed in here, let's talk a little bit about what Channel Pro does in terms of its offering for businesses that would want to get into the e-commerce market.
All right, so what we do currently, so we're building a lot of e-commerce websites over the last couple of months since COVID, for small businesses, and that's one of the reasons that prompt this whole session in speaking to them. A lot of persons currently who we're talking to, they're selling on Instagram or they're selling through WhatsApp. So they're doing their WhatsApp statuses and they're selling through there. But what they're realizing that, as Karen and I believe Kemar had touched on earlier, with regards to missing out and having an actual proper e-commerce website where, for Google ranking, how you can get there. So we're building regular website, we're doing e-commerce website, we're doing landing pages and other services outside of digital. So we're looking at social media marketing, providing marketing and promotional plan, financial statements, business plans, everything that a small business would need to get up and running, from the planning to the execution, to the website, to marketing and promoting your business. So we have a full suite of services here at Channel Pro with different departments taking care of all aspects of what a small business would need to get them up and running.
Wow. And I just come in, do I just call you? I'm going to give the information later on, but I just want to know how easy it is to contact, to get into Channel Pro and then say, boy, Channel Pro, I have no idea about what I'm doing. I really wanted to set up this e-commerce platform of my website.
Yeah.
How do I go about doing it? Do you just take that information and run with it? Is there anything else?
So what we do, so persons would send the information to our email address, salesadmin@thechannelpro.com. We'll have a discovery meeting, a 30-minute meeting where we discuss the needs. We like to look at not just the e-commerce section, but overall business. So we take it from a business angle, overall, what it is that you need for a business. So we want to understand the challenges that you're having, and e-commerce could solve them, but there may be other things. So we're looking at more of the business challenge. What's the problem that you're having, what you're trying to solve, and where do you want to take your business over the next couple of years? So we take it from that angle and to kind of plug in. So if you come to us about e-commerce, we're not going to just talk to you about that topic. We want to understand your business and to see how we can help you.
Yeah, love that. All right, so Chris, I went off and I created, something that I think I should be good to go with concerning being in the e-commerce market. But then, as according to something I was reading that Karen wrote, I don't know how to get my money. I don't know how to, that's not a problem for me. And I come running now to Chris crying. So let's talk about how do we solve that problem here in the Caribbean?
So it has been a really common problem, for a number of years. So let's say FAC, is a payment gateway company, right? So our job is to connect your website to the local banking infrastructure, whichever country you're in within the Caribbean or Central America, and make sure that transaction that's happening on your website is going to authorize, and then those funds settle to the appropriate bank. So NCB, for this example, right? So now, if you look sort of bigger picture, and people will go, well, I could use WooCommerce or Wix or Shopify, whatever, when I lived in the US or lived in Canada, for example. Kieran knows this experience well. So why can't I use it in the Caribbean? And the simple answer to that is that these ginormous companies, have kind of ignored the Caribbean, basically, when it comes to the payment infrastructure, because it's quite a lot of work to connect to all the different banks in all the different countries, and all the different processes. So each bank and we've done that work over 23 years, but each bank has a different, what's called a processor, which is basically the connection point to Visa and MasterCard. And then there's several banks per country. So you look at that across the Caribbean, and then you look at the opportunity revenue wise that for somebody like Shopify or Wix or whoever that might be, they just simply don't want to take the time to do the investment. But I'm basically here to say that you don't need those US companies necessarily anymore within the Caribbean, because the infrastructure has been created now within the Caribbean to help you get online now. So if you're using Shopify, we have a plugin for that. If you're using Wix, we have a plugin for that. If you're using Magento, we have a plugin for that. WooCommerce, PrestaShop, the list goes on and on and on, because this is our market and we've taken the time to put that in there. So, and because we're in this space, we always say, think payments first when it comes to your website, because like you said, if you spend all that time and money on something else, and then you get to the back end bit and say, oh yeah, okay, give us your US bank account details. And you're like, well, I don't have a US bank account. And I don't want one either, because then I'm roped into the US tax system and, maintaining a company within the US and, having to deal with an entity that has no idea how the Caribbean's working in the first place. So, it's there's a lot of issues around that if you're trying to set up something in the US. So now you can do that here, all through all the islands, through all the countries. There's connectivity now with all the major platforms to help you do that, but just double check first. So and we talked about the content creation, and I think around about the time that Kieran was starting as well, we had hired a local agency to help us create that content, because even though we've been in the region for a long time, with people thinking, wow, I didn't know First Atlantic could do that, or I didn't know my bank offered e-commerce, or whatever it is. So, we especially during COVID, when we couldn't get on a plane and couldn't go to conferences or sit down with people, we created a lot of content specific to the Caribbean. So the First Atlantic Commerce YouTube channel has a lot of that covered off, and I can just see in the questions, There's one about funding. There's one about integrations. We have interviews with all the different banks and all the different providers that help us, actually get live. So, there is content there now. But you've got to look for it too. Like, there's only so much we can do, and Karen can do, and Kamal can do, and NCB can do, Channel Pro can do. But you've got to take the time to actually do some research, do some legwork.
Yeah.
Content is there now. I can assure you.
Yeah, absolutely. Karen, there's a point that you made though about the content being specific to the Caribbean, something that you have managed to tackle, because then it speaks specifically to our markets or people, the kind of services, products, etc. that they would be going for from here. So let's talk about that part, and let's also speak about the importance of marketing after you have your e-commerce platform, like making sure that people know, because that's a big part, not sitting down and thinking you and your 10 friends alone know that I now have an e-commerce platform.
Yeah, so when I came over from Canada, one of the biggest challenges was you jump on Google to get information and you realize that no institution has produced any information that is searchable. So it made it really hard to try to navigate. And for me, I knew how things would work in Canada, so I had an idea as to what I was even looking for, and that allowed me to network on LinkedIn. That's how I met Chris. That's how I met WePay CEO Aldwin, and just connect with them to learn more information. And then because I built my business and more people were seeing me doing e-commerce and selling online, I started to get more questions of people asking me, hey, how are you doing this? How are you showing up in Google? How are you being found? How are you selling online? And then I started to create that content and put it out. When you have your website now, and this is one of the reasons why I keep telling people, you need to learn digital marketing for yourself or become the best of friends with somebody in the space.
Yeah.
Because just because you build it, nobody cares. They're not coming. You are going to have to learn how digital marketing works in 2022. You're going to have to learn how the search engines work. And there's tons of courses available, but you're going to have to learn how to bring traffic to your platform. And it works to your benefit because there's no greater email that you're ever going to see than 2 o'clock in the morning when you wake up to go get a glass of water that you just got paid for a sale or you just got one of your services. So if you learn search engine optimization, that's going to allow you to now learn how to optimize whatever content you are creating. And you want to get away from just putting content on social media, because what happens on social media stays on social media. And none of us scroll back a month, 2 months, 3 months to people's old content to look at what you were talking about then. But we do jump on Google. We jump on Bing. We jump on Yahoo, if people use Yahoo still. We jump on these search engines. We type in what we want, or we type in our problem. Hey, how do I get paid online in Trinidad? If your website, because you don't have any form of search engine optimization done and you don't have content, if you don't have these things done, when people jump on the search, nothing's going to pop up. However, when you do have your website, you are putting out content, you are optimizing it, and you show up in search, people are going to see it. They're going to click, and when they read, they're going to build trust. And once they build that trust, the next step is, how do I either connect with you or how do I buy from you? And if you have e-commerce, people can now add to cart and purchase, and they don't ever have to speak to you. And that's where we want Caribbean businesses to go.
Yeah. You mentioned search engine optimization, and I know maybe that there's somebody here watching who's like, I don't even know what search engine optimization is. Break that down for me, please. What is search engine optimization, and why is that important?
Okay, so search engine optimization, as Karen would have said before, it is, about getting found in the search engine. The most popular website in the Caribbean is Google, and everyone goes to Google. So what are those strategies that you can put in place to help to ensure that when a person is searching for a product that you sell, your product will show up in the results. That is what search engine optimization is all about.
Yeah. And how do I make sure that I'm showing up? Like, what do I need to do?
Right. So, like Karen mentioned, you need to become an expert in digital marketing, or you want to find a friend that is an expert. So, you
The
want to
more
find
I
those.
post, you're saying then that the more I post about it, the more I, come on to YouTube or wherever and I talk about it, the more that the more I put out content about my business, I will maybe eventually land at the top of your search when you go to Google.
Definitely. So,
Okay.
it's all about the content, having the right content, and ensuring that that content is made available to your customers. Google, once that content is online, Google will find it. So, ensure that you have content upon content.
Gotcha.
I'll,
Content is
I'll,
king. Go ahead, Karan.
I'll chime in, right? So I'll try to simplify it as much as I possibly can. There are three components of search engine optimization, right? So the first part is on-page SEO. This is where we go through the content, your web pages, your product pages, and we actually optimize it so that it's in compliance with the search engines, all right? And again, if you take the courses, you will learn about these things. The second component is off-page SEO. Now, off-page SEO, search engines like Google, they're looking at, are you being mentioned in the media? Are you being mentioned? Are you being referred to by other high-ranking websites? So off-page SEO is all of the ranking factors that the search engines use that are away from your website. So are you going viral on social media? Are you being featured in the media? Are higher ranking websites linking back to your website? All of those are factors that Google would take to help boost your own website's SEO ranking. And the third component is technical SEO. Now, this is where, having a well-built website, this is where a lot of the technical aspects, proper coding, fast page speed. If you are not under 2 seconds, page speed heavily has a heavy result in your ranking. So bad page speed can bring you down lower in the rankings. And having things like a website that's not mobile responsive, these are a couple of factors that the search engines use. And if you do not pass these checks, they just bump you to page 2, 3, and 4. And we know what happens when you're on those pages. Nobody's going to find you, right? So there are courses to take. You definitely want. And then one thing I will add is that you also want to be learning how to do market research. As an SEO specialist, we would be doing keyword research and topic research to see exactly what are people looking for. So we can see whatever the industry is, whatever the topic is, whatever the country is, we get to tap into all of the data that Google collects on all human beings around the world. We can tap into that as SEO specialists to see exactly what people want. What are their ages? What are their genders? What is their blood type? What cities they're from? We see all of that, and then we can craft the right content. Then we could optimize it and then distribute it across whatever digital channels we are using.
Wow, wow. That's amazing. And that's the reason why we have all of you here, because of that expertise. And I know that's going to be very valuable for our small businesses that may not readily understand off the bat what e-commerce is, what SEOs are, how I'm supposed to get to the top of Google, that kind of thing. So I'm very happy to know that we have experts. All of them here are experts in helping with that. Chris, let's talk about the trends though. Let's talk about the trends that we've been seeing in the first world markets and how, our Caribbean people, Caribbean countries, Latin America, how we've been adapting to these changes.
Yeah, so it's the trend, globally the trend, Amazon obviously, is the monster, right? So, and everybody's trying to purchase from there or sell on there. And I think, now Jamaica's opened up as a territory, and maybe Trinidad too, I think, in terms of being able to sell on Amazon. But, the trends, from a Caribbean point of view, the pandemic really gave it a shot in the arm, several shots in the arm, in terms of getting people moving with e-commerce, because people had a strategy maybe 24 months out, say, yeah, we're going to go online, we're going to do some digital transformation. A lot of people don't understand that term fully, and there's a lot of back and forth on it. And then, we'll get to it eventually. And then suddenly everybody's locked up inside, can't go anywhere, still need to buy everything. And businesses, we saw it with us, and it caused us growing pains. And we've been in this for a while, saying, okay, we need to get online. We need to take this 24-month strategy and jam it into the next month and a half, and try and get online as soon as possible. And and that's everything from telecoms to government payments to restaurants to food delivery, supermarkets, all of it. And what we see now is that now that everybody's been forced, you need these inflection points, right, where something happens that you just get forced into it. And that's what's happened within the Caribbean. Like, everybody had to move into this mode, and now that they're there, we're like, wow, this is so much better. So I don't have to drag my kids around the supermarket anymore. I don't have to stand in line at the bank to do something, or pay my telecoms bill or government utility bill or whatever that is. I can do that all from home. All the things that I really didn't like doing before when I physically had to go somewhere, I can still do that now, even though we're sort of emerged from the pandemic, and we can physically go around now. But we understand now that these things are easier. So things like the food delivery companies have just been skyrocketing, and they've done a great job with that. The supermarkets have done a great job with that too. Telecoms, it's been around for a while, but again, content being king, I think a lot of that message wasn't communicated properly, that you could pay your digital flow bill online, and now people are starting to understand that. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, exactly. And I think what you're getting now as well, Kieran's holding up the links card.
Yeah.
And also now in
Oh,
Jamaica.
I have the app.
No, they're branded Visa now. So the links cards previously, you could only use at the point of sale, right? And you couldn't use them internationally. Now that they've got a Visa bug on them, you can use them online. So you're taking a market that had 15% credit card penetration, and everybody else having the debit cards, and suddenly your business is opened up, to about another 80% of the population that has a debit card that can now use online for your business. So the opportunity, going back to the saturation point, is huge. Same things happened in Jamaica. So the multi-link Jets cards are now get branded too, so you can start using those online. So if you're a business and you're thinking, well, not enough people have a credit card in those markets, it doesn't matter anymore, because everybody has a debit card, and you can use it internationally now too. So lots of opportunity going there. And if you look at Jamaica and Trinidad, there's more phones than there are people. And to Karen's point about making sure that your site is optimized for mobile, everybody's got a phone now, and everybody is browsing, shopping, searching from their phone. And if you're not set up for that, you're missing a huge opportunity.
Absolutely, for sure. Twitty, do you want to jump in here, based on anything you've been observing as well through your business?
Yeah, no, what I was gonna chime in on what Chris said about the old multi-link card, what they call it, Midas card.
Midas cards.
I wanted Sarah Lee to kind of touch more on that, because the banks now in Jamaica have basically phased out what we call the Midas card. So now you have the Visa or MasterCard that's usually a debit card that can purchase online. So with that sort of information, and with our viewers here listening, small businesses, as Chris said, that opened up a lot more for persons who could not have received a credit card before. Now your debit card is your card that you can use online. So Sarah, how is that? What is the penetration now? I don't know if you have those stats with regards to the debit, the Visa debit credit card purchases, and how is that phasing out?
All right, so I don't have the stats, but what I can say is, as the payments landscape changes and as e-commerce changes, we want to ensure that we adapt to the changes at NCB and provide the solutions that benefit these businesses. So as we navigate the world of digital commerce, we have formulated a number of e-commerce solutions that can equip businesses with the tools that they need to capitalize on all the opportunities that exist online. So I don't know if you mind, I'm going to go through some of the suite of solutions that we offer. So the first solution I'm going to talk about is a standard integration solution. So NCB allows businesses to unleash the power of their website through a partnership with First Atlantic Commerce, who is our gateway provider. NCB's standard integration solution is really for the business who you need a custom solution, you want a custom built website. So you may have a website or may not, but you want a fast and secure platform that enables multi currency credit card transaction processing using the Visa, MasterCard, or a key card. And it's not just your credit card now, it's your Visa debit, your MasterCard debits as well. And this is a solution for you. So, but for this option, we generally ask our merchants that you have a developer to assist with your website, to create the website if you don't have one, as well as to help to integrate the gateway onto the website. The second solution I'm going to talk about is the e-commerce business in a box solution, which, if I may add, is an award-winning solution. Um, so NCB e-commerce in a box is really saying to you, you don't need an expert programmer, you don't need an IT specialist, you don't need a background in development to be able to utilize e-commerce. You can use the tools at your disposal. What you know, you can utilize it. But if you don't know, you can always still ask questions. As was said, find the persons that can help you. The NCB e-commerce in a box solution includes the NCB website templates and the NCB payment buttons. NCB website templates provides our merchants with a customizable pre-built website template that it takes the hassle out of building a website from scratch. So you get your own unique website, and you don't have any development costs, or you have little development costs associated. With the NCB payment buttons, it allows merchants to accept card payments on your social media channels. So if it's Instagram, Twitter, email, you name it, you can accept credit card payments at any time and anywhere by sending a shareable link. And the third solution I'm going to talk about is our marketplace solution. So this is an online mall that allows you to advertise your business or advertise your goods and your services, as well as accept payments online. So if you think about it in a physical space, we have malls or we have plazas. So if you're in Jamaica, Karen, I'm not in Jamaica, but if you know Constant Spring, there are a lot of malls. You have Village Plaza, you have Seventh Avenue. It's the same thing, and within those malls, you have stores within them. For NCB Marketplace, same concept. It's just that it's online. So NCB Marketplace comes with a lot of benefits. It comes with, you can get built-in loyalty programs from the marketplace providers. You get free digital marketing. There are coupon programs available. So there are lots of benefits to be derived from e-commerce, and it's not just a website. It's not just a payment button. You can also utilize the services of other e-commerce providers. And
Okay.
just for a small plug, um, a lot of we power a lot of the marketplaces in Jamaica. So there is Shop Q Mall. I don't want to forget any, but there's Shop Q Mall. There's coolmarket.com. There's 876 Get, First in Line, Seven Crave. You name it. A lot of the marketplaces, NCB powers them. And
Right.
so, yeah.
Right. Awesome. Awesome. A lot of information there about NCB's offerings. Thank you so much, Sarah, for that. And I must ask you, Sarah, when I have my business account, do I get a credit card, or do I get a Visa debit card? How does that work here?
You get a credit card, not a Visa debit.
Okay.
But there is a startup package, a business startup package that you can avail of if it is that you're becoming an e-commerce, or even if it is POS, you can avail of that credit card package.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Thank you so much, Sarah. Kamar, chime in here for me, please. Or people are very skeptical with their businesses. They may be thinking that, I have a bamboo business. Does my bamboo business need a website? Like some people have some businesses that are thinking, I don't think my business need a website. Like, why my bamboo business need a website?
Right, definitely. I would say that every business needs a website, and especially in this time that we're in, where everybody is thinking about safety. That's one of the driving factors even to get a website now. People want a contactless way to buy that bamboo chair or that bamboo, whatever it is. They want a contactless way. And you may find that having a website, like Karen would have mentioned and Chris would have mentioned, it opens you up to a whole new market. Being able to have customers in the United States, Canada, you name it. So every business, once you are operating now in 2022, I would believe that you need a website.
Right. Awesome. Karan, chime in here for me. The gaps. The gaps, the gaps, the gaps. There are still some gaps. There's still some little bugs in the system. Are there any gaps that you've identified that we still need fixing? I'm sure you have a few of them.
I think to me the biggest gap, the biggest issue right now is we need more of our leaders leading. So I'll give an example. We have an entity here in Trinidad. They're one of the top entities, and they put on a lot of conferences. And a lot of the conferences, the partners that are all involved are e-commerce partners, technology partners, you name it. From a tech standpoint in the Caribbean, there are partners that come together for these events, right? They have these events, and in order to purchase a ticket, you have to either call or submit an email. They then have to forward you the banking information. Then I have to do a bank transfer or visit them in person to give them money. And at that point, they verify that I have given them money, because sometimes it takes 3 days for the bank transfers to happen. And once they've verified that the money has hit their bank account, then they'll issue you a ticket. Now, if that is one of the leaders who are putting on tech events, talking e-commerce, that doesn't sound or set a precedent to anybody that you are trying to convince to do e-commerce. So we need, to me, the biggest issue is our leaders need to lead. They need to show that this is a process. These things can happen, because if you have all the money in the world and you still don't have a workable digital funnel or workable flow, then what incentive does it give for small businesses to aspire to be like? All right. So that to me is the biggest issue. We just need more of our leaders to actually lead. Don't just put on the conferences and say, "Hey, come visit. Let's learn about something that none of us are actually doing." Nothing's gonna change, right? So
Right.
that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, very, very good point there. Very good point there. Chris,
I
that's
just,
a big gap. Chris?
I'll just chime in on that as well, because
Yes.
I think I know who you're talking about. And
Okay, let's just say the views expressed here on Channel Pro are not necessarily those of Channel Pro.
the
Okay?
yeah, and we're working on it. So I'm actually sitting down with them when I come down in September. So, but yeah, no, I hear you. It's you know, it is a bit of a dichotomy. So, but on that point as well, you know, and I think, you know, on some of the gaps that, you know, I think, you know, it's important for people to understand why people are asking for certain things. So like the banks, for example, you know, so we get that a lot, you know, oh, well, you know, we need to do a lot of paperwork. And I said, well, this is not an unusual process, right? So when you're applying for a corporate account with for your business, whether you're a sole trader or, you know, a publicly listed company, you know, there is paperwork that you should have on your business. And that's good business practice for you as an individual, as a sole trader, or, you know, an SME. You know, this is good corporate practice for you to run your business properly. So, you know, and you know, I've seen questions about funding. So if you're trying to get funding for your business, you're going to need this type of paperwork or this level of organization, the business plan. You know, how you're going to fund this, how you're going to, you know, what's your burn rate going to be, all these sorts of things. You should be thinking out anyway, you know, in terms of, and that's all the stuff that the bank is going to ask for when you apply for your e-commerce merchant account. So, and there's different ways that you can do that too. I mean, Sarah mentioned the malls. You know, the online shopping malls, that is actually filled quite a good gap within the Caribbean market, because, you know, you might only have one product that you're selling. Could be a t-shirt, could be soaps, it could be a candle. And, you know, the infrastructure it takes to get that online and sold, you know, is quite a lot. And that might just be your side hustle, right? So, but these malls are creating the opportunity for you to get access to the international market or the domestic market easily. So that barrier to entry is removed because somebody has created that infrastructure for you, right? So you create that relationship with them and they sell your product, and you get a lot of cross-selling there too, right? So if somebody might be on there looking for the bamboo chair, but might see your candle on there and think, oh, okay, great, I want that as well. And they weren't looking for you in the first place, but they found you. And then also when you're dealing with, all our economies rely heavily on tourism, right? So, and when people come in and they find a local product that they like, if you're in a physical store, that means they've got to come back or rely on somebody going there. And when they go home and they've run out and they're like, man, I wish I could get that again. And if you don't have a website where they can order that from, you've missed out on a lot of repeat business.
Absolutely. Very good point there. We have some questions coming in the comment section. I'm super excited when I see comments coming in because that means our audience, they are engaged, they're thinking, and they want to know more. So this particular question is for Sarah. It's about an NCB account, right? So the person who's asking the question has the name Get Out Alive. She's asking, she says her mom operates a business and she literally does everything at NCB. I can't tell her nothing about another bank. She's team NCB, right? She says she can't get her online banking since last year. She says, why? And she says that her mom has been given the runaround, she says, from last year about it, and so has not been able to get it rectified. So is there a reason why she would be having that problem? And is there a way in which you can get it resolved? Is there a number, is there an email address, something that you can do?
All right. So first of all, I want to apologize for the experience that your mother has been having. What I would say is, in order to address these concerns, if you could share your details, with us or with me. I'm not sure if there's like a private chat that you can, drop your details or the details of your mother in so that we can address this concern. I'm assuming she has called our customer care center and has not been able to get the issue addressed. So if you can just share your details with me, I'll also share mine. It's my contact number is 439-5101. You can give me a call, shoot me a WhatsApp message, and we can see how best we can have this handled. Very sorry about your
I'll
experience.
have Jenny, one of our moderators, in the background just to get the information
All right,
from you, Sarah.
perfect.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah. All right. So Andreen, I believe Andreen Bailey is asking for you, Sarah, to just repeat for her the information concerning business accounts and credit cards.
Right, new business account.
Right, new business accounts.
So persons who want new NCB business account, I think this is regards to e-commerce integration with the requirements. I believe Herbert McLean as well made a comment on that. Could you just itemize? We can put it in the chat maybe afterwards. But what are the requirements?
All right, sure, no problem. So as I was saying before, if you're offering a trade, you need to be registered with the company's office. If you're offering a service and you are operating in your own name, it is not necessarily required that you register. And in that case, what you can do is apply using your personal NCB bank account. The other requirements, we touched on the two business bank accounts, one denominated in Jamaican dollars and one denominated in US dollars. For that, you need your business registration certificate, tax compliance certificate, your valid photo ID, which is a TRN, and your TRN, sorry. You need to complete a merchant application and agreement form. If it is a company that you have, memorandum and articles of association, the articles of incorporation, your trading certificate, and if you have licenses that, for example, if you're a bar and you need your spirit license, we require those licenses as well.
So basically, the business registration basically covers. So it's a business registration, TCC, the photo ID with TRN. If you have the driver's license, it will be the TRN and the ID in one, right? Right. So the business registration comes with the article of incorporation attached to it. So you could just scan those documents in one, and the application form, right? So it's business registration, TCC, photo ID, TRN, your driver's license if you have one that will satisfy both requirements, and the application form, right?
Right.
And if you operate a bar, you would need, in addition to those 4 items, your spirit license.
Or
Correct?
any other applicable licenses, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, do they need to come in branch or can I submit these things online? How do I get it done?
So what you can do there is you can go on our landing page, jncb.com/e-commerce. There is a portal for you to just enter your information. We will get it here at NCB, and one of our sales reps will reach out to the prospects.
Okay. All right, great. All right, I have a question here from Daniel Atkinson as we are on the 1 hour mark. It's for Kemar. She's asking, she says, I know someone who wants a website, but the business is not registered. Would that hinder them from getting the website?
Sorry, so the question is definitely no, it won't hinder them from getting the website. However, as it relates to e-commerce, like Sarah K would have mentioned, to tap into the e-commerce service at NCB, there may be special requirements. If they're selling a product and not a service, they may need to open a business bank account, which would require them to get registered. So that's the only consideration, but there's no limitation on them developing a website. It's just a matter of how will you collect the payment and what are the requirements to get the e-commerce service from NCB.
All right, good.
Sarah mentioned something about using the personal bank account. What would be the difference with regards to a business bank account or a personal? Does it dependent on the type of business? If you're a sole trader, you could use your personal account. Is
So
that the differentiator?
no, so what I was saying is if
Okay.
you offer a service and you're operating in your own name, you don't necessarily need a
Okay.
business bank account, but you can utilize your personal NCB
Okay.
account.
Okay. Thanks for
Okay.
that clarity.
All right, great. And Millennium is saying noted as well. So that was good information. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, my panelists, we are on that hour mark. We are to be wrapping up at this time, but I'm going to ask everyone to just chime in here and let's just give any departure comments about e-commerce, why it's important, why should people get on it now? Any words, any comments, any thoughts? Karen, let me start with you.
Yeah, so for me, I would tell everybody that there are tons of self-paced learning that you could do, courses that you could do to learn how to develop your own website. If you do not have the funds to hire a web developer, when I started out, I did not have the money to hire a web developer. I bought books, I looked at forums, I did free courses that I learned how to build WordPress websites. And then I was able to build my own website and I learned that skill on my own, right? So you can do that. There's tons of digital marketing courses. So a place I would tell you to go is check out HubSpot Academy, HubSpot, HubSpot Academy. Take a look at their digital marketing courses because guess what? Even if you hire a web developer, and I know Kamar's gonna smile when I say this, even if you pay Kamar top dollar and he builds you the best website ever, it's not his job to bring traffic to your website. So just because you have this, just because you have the fancy website, just because it's e-commerce ready, doesn't mean that it's going to bring people. So go on HubSpot, go check out their digital marketing course. It's free. Learn the strategies as to how to bring traffic to your platform. It's also going to show you strategies on how to show up more on social media. That way, even if you're using a platform like NCB or you're using Fagaro and you're utilizing the payment buttons that come with that service, if people are finding you on social media, you can still send out those shareable links so that people can make payments to you. And yeah, that's what I'll end with.
Thank you. No, that's a good resource right there, and it's free. So you know how much we like free over here. So the good thing is that we can go on there, get the information that we need at HubSpot Academy, guys. And as Chris did say, you're gonna have to, roll those sleeves up and get some grease on the elbows because you have to do the work. I mean, Google is not the problem. Okay, it's there. The information is there. We just got to search for it, right, Chris? Give me your words.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, I would say we need to just continue to change the narrative. A lot of time we've been telling ourselves that we can't do this because it's not available in the Caribbean, or we don't have the skill sets here, and that's just simply not true, and hasn't been true for a while. There are a lot of great tech companies in the Caribbean, a lot of great software developers. There's a company whose name is escaping right now in Jamaica that's like Fiverr, where you can, if you're not a technical person, you might not be able to learn like SEO or backlinking or whatever it is. There are sites that you can get to where you can hire somebody on an hourly rate. You don't need a full-time person to do it. So let's stop telling ourselves that we can't do it, because we can, and we've got thousands of companies across the region that are doing it.
Love that for sure. We are able to do it. Sarah, any final thoughts?
Yes, so first, I must say that I'm happy that we have an additional platform through Channel Pro encouraging our businesses to boss up with e-commerce. I'm hoping that from listening to the discussion that businesses are ready to go global, they're ready to provide their customers with convenience and efficiency, they're ready to increase their customer base, they're ready to maximize their selling potential and really just capitalize on all the opportunities that exist online.
Absolutely. Kemar?
Yes, thank you. So one thing I would like to say to businesses is that, we have, there are a lot of options available to you, as Sarah K would have mentioned, Chris would have mentioned, the marketplace, the customized website solution, the payment buttons, the website templates. It's important that you analyze and you identify which is the best for your business. Because what I have seen is a lot of customers come in and they're saying, oh, I tried this and then I realized it wasn't for me. I've been paying this fee, I got this quotation, I couldn't handle it. So what I would do is I would suggest to persons, come to us at Channel Pro and let us, have a free talk to figure out what solution is the best solution for you. It will help you to save money and avoid a lot of pitfalls, avoid a lot of, confusion. So definitely identify which solution is the best in terms of budget, in terms of your specific business and what you need.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Thank you.
great.
And Twitian, I mean, I know that you must have a few thoughts on this, on the information shared here today. Let's hear them.
Yes, so thanks, Kimara. Thanks for that. For the same reason why we're putting on this, we do have a free discovery session, a 30-minute session that we could have with you. If you are interested in getting e-commerce ready, we do also have a partnership with NCB. I don't think Sarah can do that, but we have a partnership with NCB where we utilize them for the POS, MPOS, as well as some of the payment buttons. So some person might not want full-blown e-commerce. But really and truly, things have changed. The pandemic has changed how consumers buy. So if you're a small business and you still are not convinced that you need a website or e-commerce or to get in on that, please, after this session, you can contact us at salesadmin at thechannelpro.com. That's salesadmin at thechannelpro.com. We have access to Karen, Chris, Kemar, Sarah, everybody here. So if you want any information from any of them, you can reach out to us there. We could have a discovery session where we discuss training, how can you get resources. Karen is very good at digital marketing and training. If you need any information from this session, you could reach out to us there.
Absolutely. And I see some of the questions coming in about NCB and also business registration. TCC, etc. I believe that Channel Pro would have the answers for you as well, right, Tutian? So, yeah, you can go ahead and ask the question, send an email, and let's get you the information that you do need. But yeah, that is it. Thank you so much, panelists. Let me hear it. Can Karen just drop some sound effects in the background?
Bang, 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 connect.
Wow. All right. The first, guys, the first in the series of the Channel Pro Boss Up Small Biz series. This has been so amazing. I got a lot of information, and I know that the audience must have received for themselves as well some really valuable resource there for them to go ahead and utilize in their business if they have not started as yet. And even if you started and just needed some additional clarification, I know you must have gotten that today. So big up to everybody who were here. You were here logged on from early for strategic moves in the new e-commerce landscape. And Twitty Ann, I don't know if you want to tell everybody, but what will the next series be about?
All right, so the next series will be about funding, how to get funding for your business. So stay tuned to our YouTube channel, LinkedIn. We also send out our newsletters to our members. So the next session will be about funding. How can I get funding for my small business? We have a lot of resources out there who are willing to offer and give money to businesses who they think are feasible or wherever they believe that they can invest millions of dollars. We are in partnership with the DBJ as well and the government of Jamaica with getting SMEs e-commerce ready. That section of the project is on hold for a little while they look at revamping that to give even greater value to our small and medium-sized businesses. So the government is on board, and we do have a lot of companies and people out there who are looking to invest. And in speaking with a lot of these small businesses, they do have great ideas. It's such a pleasure and fun speaking to some of them. I'm like, whoa, you come up with that by yourself.
Wow.
So we can discuss how you can get money to take that business to the next level.
Amazing. Chris did make the point that, we can't, continue thinking in limited terms. We are able to do so much from the Caribbean. And as Chris said as well, in anticipation for this new series coming up about funding, it's important to get those paperwork in order. Get your business information.
Your business plan, your financial statements. It's very important to have that financial statements because, to discuss what they are looking for, what angel investors are looking for, or persons who are looking to give you grants. You need that business plan as well as financial statements. And we can talk about that in the next session.
Yeah. So until we regroup and reconvene the small business series, I want you guys to really just get yourselves in order, and let's really and truly maximize on your business so that you can make the most out of it. Generational wealth is the aim of the game. And so, we want to make sure that our businesses in Jamaica and in the Caribbean, they're ready to really stamp their place in the world. This is it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Wave my panelists, tell everybody bye-bye. And please make sure that when you see this link online, please to share it across the platforms. Go ahead and like and subscribe Channel Pro's platforms and the YouTube page as well, so that you can keep up to date with everything that they're doing there, and make sure that you contact them for all of your e-commerce needs as well. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Blessings.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you so much.
Thanks.